Well, we started planting about the 3rd of April, where we really got started good. It is now the 5th, and we have one more pass to be done with a 440 acre block of rice. So that's pretty exciting. We have knocked that out pretty quick and efficiently. Everything's gone pretty well. We've had some minor problems that y'all will see with working on a tractor, but everything's gone pretty well. So that's a pretty big stepping stone, I feel like, that we've knocked out and got that monkey off our back. And they're calling for rain Sunday. It's Friday right now, so we're gonna plant one more day, check the weather, and see what Sunday looks like. We've planted about 300 acres of beans, maybe a little bit more, and we decided to wait and see what this rain does on beans. Rice is a little more of a tougher crop to handle the weather they're calling for. There's a chance that we could get 4 to 5 inches of rain. So we'll see, but the rice typically can handle that for the most part. Beans, not so much. So we're just gonna hold off on the beans for now and keep planting this rice. But we've gotten planted, sprayed, water fur's running, a bunch of stuff. We're looking pretty good. We got the roller chasing the planter, so everything's looking up right now. What I'm doing is riding on this grain drill because we're running low on seed, so I got to keep moving it around to make sure we finish this field and don't run out, because this grain drill doesn't have sensors on it. So we're just gonna take y'all along for the ride. It's a little dusty. This is how much we got left. We gotta get to there. Gonna be tight. Well, we didn't have enough seed. It's Saturday, which means that we'll have to be back out here tomorrow, Sunday, to plant the rest of this field, which means we're gonna have to work on Sunday. And I don't like working on Sundays. Things don't go well on Sundays. We probably got 10 to 15-ish more acres left, and no more seed. So we'll be here tomorrow on Sunday. Y'all pray for us. We're back out here Sunday morning. Sure don't like working on Sundays if I can help it. Things just seem to have a way of going wrong, but they're calling for rain. We don't have but about 15 acres of rice left to plant, just to be done with before the rain. We still have more rice to plant, but we ran out of the variety we were planting yesterday, and luckily I got friends in high places, and a buddy of mine was planting the same variety I was and had some left over. So we're borrowing it, and we'll straighten that out later. And Blake's here late by like a minute, but anyways, so we'll see how this goes on Sunday. We're planting. Still probably gonna come up short, which means we were wrong on our calibration. Blake's out there riding on the planter, keeping an eye on it. See what happens when I shift gears here. Oh, he was steady. He was steady. Maybe we'll get him in the downshift. Well, it didn't go as fast as we had liked, but we're done for the day. We didn't have any major problems. Of course, we're still taking stuff back to the shop, getting everything shed ready for a rain, but so anything can happen between now and then. But we did get the field planted and completed. We're just hauling everything back to the shop now, one piece at a time. Get everything under the shed, get everything, batten down the hatches for the rain, see what happens. So, pretty successful for a Sunday. Well, it rained. You see that? We're up to 2.2 inches. They're calling for a little bit heavier rain tomorrow. We'll see. But it's wet. As you can see, it did a little raining here. We got anywhere from 2.5 to 4 inches depending on where you're standing. And it's quite muddy. The bottom end of the field here just got the water off of it yesterday, and it's quite the residual left. I got my helper with me here today, but we're just hoping that the rice comes on up through this. We're not too concerned about it. It's a pretty hardy crop and can withstand some tough conditions, so we're glad the water got off and everything looks good right now. The sun's out and wind's drying a little bit, and we ought to have a little more news about it in a couple days, but as of right now, I think we're gonna be all right. You going right to the mud? Of course you are. What do you think, White? You think it's gonna be all right? Mud? Okay. If any of y'all have any questions what buckshot is, there you go. Sticks right to the shoes. You stick with it, it'll stick with you. Isn't that right, White?
Gee.
I'm on one of my dryland bean fields now after this rain, just checking to see what it looks like, making sure everything drained off. This doesn't look quite as bad as the rice field does. It's drying off quicker, it's a little bit higher ground. We're gonna go out here and pick up some of these seeds out of the ground and see what the bean's doing under there, make sure it's germinating and trying to push on out and not sitting down there rotting. You can see that one spiked in and trying to swell up and grow on out. I think we're gonna be all right for the most part. There may be some bottom ends of some of these bean fields that we could have to replant depending on how they handled the water sitting on them for a day or two, but or 3, but we'll see. It seemed to all get off fairly quick. Everything seems all right underground right now in some places. I hadn't looked in some of the worst spots. Like I said, we think the rice will be fine. More worry on the beans, but we didn't plant a ton of beans counting on this rain, so we'll let y'all know as we go. We're out here in another bean field. This is an irrigated field. You can see the rows, some of the ruts we put in it planting it, but it's pretty muddy. This is not known for draining very well, and it's some of the softer ground that we have, more problematic area from year to year. But here's a little bit of a testament of some high ground rows, just a testament for rows and what it means to have them. Because this is right here where the row's a little bit more flattened out, probably held a little more water there, but here's where it's some higher ground here. And the rows peaked up a little higher. And you can see down through here, these beans are already coming out of the ground. So that's why we like to row up in the fall, to have a bed to plant on in the spring. So when we do get these rains like this, it's usually common to get at least one a year, that we have a little more resistance to all the water because we're above it instead of in it. So this field was planted a day later than that dryland field, and I couldn't find any beans up in it. And it drains a little better. This field drains a little worse, but it's on rows and we already got some beans up. So just a testament to why we row up in this part of the world. Well, it's about 8 or 9 days after we planted beans down through here. You can see on the rows there. It's about 8 or 9 days after. Last week we got somewhere between 3 and 3.5 inches of rain on everything. So, and it's been 80 something degrees the past 2 or 3 days, the wind blowing, drying it out. You can tell we are starting to get some emergence. You can see the ground kind of puckered up in a place like this, and you flip it over and there they are. More. They're coming, baby. They are coming strong. Give them about two more good days of sunshine, and it'll be, you'll probably be able to ride down through here and see a green line all the way down the road. So hopefully things are looking up. Lord willing, maybe we'll get some more planting done this week, but there's a few chances of rain here and yonder. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can get some more beans and rice planted. This is the bottom end of one of these fields. You can tell it's still really muddy down here. It's crusted over, but I mean, you could still make a ball. But you can see they're coming up. They got planted deeper down here, because usually on the bottom end of a field it's softer, so it unintentionally sometimes plants them a little bit deeper. But they are coming up. I hope they keep coming, and we don't have to mess around and replant the bottom end of a field, because that'll suck. Just need a couple days of warm sunshine, wind, dry it up, give that seed the energy it needs to push on through. Well, good morning for early again. We are here early again to plant some rice. We have 195 acres left, and it's kind of chopped up into 5 fields, so it's gonna take us a little time to get them planted. But anyways, it's another rain coming. tonight, they say. So we're gonna try to get this planted today and get through with it before this rain. Well, we've managed to make it to the pure daytime now without having any scratch, dents, or dings. Not gonna be able to see the sunrise as good this time. It's a little cloudy. It'll probably peek on out later, but it's gonna be later on in the morning. But anyways, we got a full day ahead of us. We gotta get a pretty big chunk of rice planted before this rain today, and got a test plot to do, got water first run, spraying to do, and then put everything up under the shop, have it ready, hatched down for the rain. But anyways, we'll keep y'all informed with it. But I'll give you another little sunrise sermon this morning, I guess you could call it, just preaching from a tractor seat, reading my verse of the day for today, and it talks about in Acts of Apostles how how I just lost my train of thought, and I'm coming up on the end row, so we'll get back to you with that in a second. As I was saying, in Acts of Apostles, it talks about how you can help people by how hard you work, and that it's better to give than to receive. And I think in our day and time, that's been lost in our way of life, is working hard. It just doesn't seem to be as important to people or revered as it used to be. But it's in the Bible that you don't realize how much you help people when you work hard, and it doesn't mean that you got to go find people to help. Go find people in need all the time. Work hard so that you can better your life to help others. You know that saying, when you're on an airplane, put your oxygen mask on first before you put somebody else's on. It's kind of the same concept, I think. Get up and work hard. It's in the Bible. It's biblical. Work hard. It's not that complicated. Help yourself. Give to others, because it's better to give to receive. When you don't work hard, you don't have anything to give. So if nobody works hard, nobody can help anybody. See what I'm saying? As Phil Robertson says, you understand what I'm talking about? So anyways, that's just my opinion, but well, no, that's in the Bible, so it's not my opinion, that's truth. So there you have it. Book of God. When I say God, I'm talking about Jesus, just FYI, so we're on the same page. But anyways, we're gonna get back to it. Just figured I'd throw that out there for y'all. Be a light today. Get up, work hard, quit being lazy. We're out here planting a test plot with Helen, a chemical that we do every year. Soybeans.
Looks like they've been rolled around the block a few times. Not them.
These are some progenies. Yeah, that treatment's not as Cadillac. I think these are, no, excuse me, the first one's a Pioneer. These are progenies. We're gonna have 10 different varieties at 8 rows at a time, and see how they all do on our farm.
Yeah. All right, Blake, put a little red, drink some ice, just means it. Test pot complete.
There's one ditch over in the very northwest corner of this field we planted that was a little muddy the other day when we planted it. Ought to be good and dry by now, so I'm gonna try to slip over here and mop it out and give it a nice clean furrow. That way if we get a bunch of rain, it'll drain off that corner.
Don't back it on up to the source where she drains the field. Put her in drive, set the plow down, or the ditcher, and ease forward and see if we're getting what we need. Oh yeah, that's what we need. When I was a kid, riding the tractor with Dad when we were running a water fur plow like we are right now, I used to think it was the coolest thing in the world. There's just something about seeing them big honking clouds of dirt just fly 30 feet in the air. I remember the first time I got on it was an open cab tractor, and we got on it and went to running ditches, and I was saying that, I was like, oh man, I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Now, I still kind of think it's cool, but it's not a very fun job. It's slow and kind of rough, because you usually plant the bottoms, you're planting rough places. So, but it's gotta be done.
So what we did out here, we planted a test plot from that flag over there to the one way down there. We did 10 different varieties, and I didn't get all the footage that I wanted to get, just wasn't paying attention, and have had some stuff go on today and been busy, and now I'm out here and it's starting to rain on me, so fix to have to go move some seed carts around. But anyways, we plant this test plot every year for Helena Chemical and or Helena Agri Enterprises, bad words, and we just like to test it on our own farm to see how it does on our dirt, and that way we know what grows best soybean wise on our soil. We'll keep you up to date with all this and get back with you when it starts to grow. Well, we're still out here today. It showered on us a little bit. We're trying to finish up this rice. We're not going to be able to get through because we got a 20-acre flat field that still a little too wet to plant. But that's all we'll have left if it does rain us out tonight. We probably got another 30-40 minutes here. We got all 3 pieces of equipment down on the other end. We got the planter running, the roller chasing behind him, and the water fur plow chasing them, counting on the rain tonight. So we started early this morning, and we're going to run a little later than normal tonight, see if we can get it all accomplished and knocked out. Hopefully we'll get a rain. We could use about a ½ inch or so, get all this ground loosened up a little bit, let the rice that we do have in the ground get planted, and, or not planted, come on up, because it's struggling to get through that hard crust right now. But anyways, we're chipping right along, and we ought to get through here shortly with rice besides that 20 acres, and that's a pretty good feeling.